primary focus of today's conference is really to talk about the benefits of beef cattle breeding. Components of genetic gain in beef cattle, there are three areas: data recording, genetic evaluation and breeding programs. In relation to data recording, a lot of ICBF's time and effort over the last number of years has been on developing programs such as the Suckler Cow Welfare Scheme, through then linking with marts, factories to collect data for genetic evaluations, and we've been very successful in that regard, and certainly there's a lot of data on which to accurately evaluate individual animals, pedigree stock bulls and AI bulls, based on the performance of the commercial progeny that are going through marts and into the factories. So it's on that basis then that we have collected the data, and the second component then in genetic evaluations or genetic improvement is to bring that data together into genetic indexes or breeding indexes such as the Eurostar index system, which we've developed over the last number of years, which we've rolled out now to the industry. And those indexes are based on a profit principle where farmers can identify the best bulls or cows based on those animals that are going to lead most profit from beef breeding. The simple principle that we use there is 5 stars is good. It's like the hotel principle, and 1 star is not so good. And in fact, if we look at the data that we have collected over the last number of years and look at the performance of the 5-star versus the 1-star bulls, you know, we consistently see a difference of €150 per progeny, which if you equate it across the entire industry of 1 million cows, it equates to €150 million in total. But obviously there's a genetic gain component to that. You can't move an industry from being 1-star to being 5-star overnight. And if we look at the current levels of genetic gain, we're achieving about a €5 million per annum gain. But we do know that based on the principles of genetic gain improvement that we can increase that, and certainly our target is with good data, with good genetic indexes and with a well-structured breeding program, that we can move that from the current €5 million per annum up to about €20 million per annum. And then the third component then of a genetic improvement program is really a breeding program, which is Gene Ireland, which is our progeny test program to identify the best AI bulls, which then go forward to breed the stock bulls, and the stock bulls get sold then into the commercial herds. And again, that program has been quite successful, but as with any program, we're looking to improve on that and build on that. We have about 50 bulls tested through that program in the last 4 years, but we certainly look to grow that, because that will also drive genetic gain. So those are really the three main components that I'll be talking about, and we'll talk a wee bit about some of the current developments, such as an increased focus on maternal traits, because fertility and maternal milk are important traits for the future for beef farmers. But then also the next one is genomics, the whole area of genomics, which is using DNA information on which to more accurately select you know, AI bulls and stock bulls. So those are the main areas that I'll be covering today. Absolutely. I mean, the uptake in the Suckler Cow Welfare Scheme demonstrated that. We went from a scenario of really only having about 50,000 commercial beef cows being registered or recorded through the ICBF database. It increased to about 800,000. So that's off the total 1 million beef cows that there are in the country. So there's about an 80% uptake in that scheme. And really, I mean, it's that scheme, I say, more than anything, that's really providing the foundation on which we're building our beef cattle breeding programs. And that's really the key focus of today's conference, is to really draw out that accuracy, because those progeny from those animals are now being slaughtered through the abattoir, so we actually can see the actual carcass performance of these, you know, 5-star steers versus 1-star steers, and you're consistently saying, you know, at the same sort of age at slaughter, 50 kilos of difference in carcass weight, which, you know, is you know, it's 150 or €200 profit difference between those sorts of animals. So it really is confirming that. On the issue of docility, obviously it's an area of increasing concern on farms. It's an area of concern from ICBS perspective as well, from a welfare perspective. And we have collected a lot of docility data through the Suckler Cow Welfare Scheme. Farmers record their calves for calf docility, and we have evaluated that data. We generate genetic evaluations of that data, and we see certainly quite large differences between individual animals in terms of their ability to breed cattle that are easier to handle. And of course there are some differences across breeds as well, but one thing that we do see is that consistently there's quite large differences within breeds, and that's a very positive development, because it means that we can start to now focus on the bloodlines that are breeding animals that are going to be more easy to handle. And I guess certainly in the context of growing herd numbers, growing numbers of animals on farms, docility is a trait that's going to be of increasing importance in the future.